Back-to-back passes on this drive.
After an abysmal Week 1 showing from Atlanta, we're headed up to Philly for Week 2 to play one of the best teams in the NFL. And I'm sure every single last Falcons fan is like really excited about this one, right? The Eagles beat the Packers 34-29 in Brazil last week, and it was a really good game. Philly showed off their impressive offense, and when it mattered, proved that their defense can live up to the hype. The game between the Falcons and the Eagles could go one of three ways, and I'm basing my information solely on how both teams performed in Week 1. The first possibility, the Eagles win by 30. The second possibility, it's a decent game and the Eagles win by 10 or so. And the third possibility, the most unlikely one, is that Atlanta somehow wins? I don't really know, so let's take an in-depth look at what we can expect from this Eagles-Falcons matchup. Philly has one of the most talented squads in the NFL, both offensively and defensively. Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown are one of the best wide receiver duos in the league, and Saquon Barkley did unspeakable things to the Packers' defense. I didn't think Jalen Hurts played super well, and he made quite a few throws outside of his 2 interceptions that made him look kind of like a rookie. However, when he does perform well, which we know he can, he's a force to be reckoned with. Now, before we continue, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section what you think the final score to this game is going to be. Defensively, the Eagles have Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Kelee Ringo, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Darius Slay, and the University of Georgia. And all of these guys are going to give hell to any NFL offense. It's especially frustrating considering Atlanta could have had a few of these players if they had a competent draft strategy. If we take a look at some next-gen stats, the Eagles did very well throwing the ball to the left side of the field, usually with passes around 10 to 15 yards. However, Hurts did not do very well throwing to the middle of the field, given that that's where both of his interceptions came from. I have no clue if this actually means anything, but it's an observation nonetheless. In comparison though, Kirk Cousins' best passes all came from less than 10 yards. The 2 times he attempted to pass over 10 yards, he threw an interception, and that's not good. In the running game, Saquon dominated on the inside runs, going for a combined 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bijan, on the other hand, did very well on outside runs, mostly to the left. And if you pay attention to where TJ Watt was the whole game, this makes a lot of sense. Now, in the perfect world, the Falcons escape with a close victory, probably from a last-second field goal. It's starting to make less and less sense why we don't play our starters in the preseason, because now we're going to be playing catch-up the rest of the year. And yeah, we're only 0-1, but what made the Pittsburgh game so important is that weeks 2 and 3 were against the best teams in the NFL. We needed to find at least an offensive identity in week 1. Losing isn't as bad as how we lost. We showed very little glimpses of a good team, and as we head into enemy territory against a very good football team on Monday night, we could be in a lot of trouble. I'm hoping, however, that we begin to gain some identity, at least show signs of life somewhere in this game. Now, the worst case scenario, if we perform again how we did this past week, it's time to sound the alarm. Again, losing isn't the whole picture, it's how you lose. And if we don't show up to play against the Eagles, we are going to get blown out. And a blowout loss might just push the fans over the edge. I do really hate how negative our fan base has become. I understand it, but it sucks that we've been so bad for so long that 0-1 is like the end of the world for us. I'm sadly a very optimistic person, so I'll be keeping my hopes up until the end of the road. However, I do not expect to win against the Eagles, but we'll see.